Imagine for a moment that everything you think, every decision you make, every emotion you feel, aren't entirely your own. That somewhere deep inside, unseen forces are quietly guiding you, steering you like a puppet on invisible strings. Sounds like science fiction, right? But what if I told you that these forces are real, that they operate all around us, and most importantly, they're not just in movies or conspiracy theories. They're in plain sight, hidden within human psychology, waiting for you to uncover them. And the crazy part? Most of us walk through life completely unaware of how easily we're manipulated, influenced, controlled. You might think you're immune, that you're above all this, that you're in charge of your decisions. But history shows us otherwise. Powerful people, world leaders, entrepreneurs, even con artists, have mastered this dark art. And now you can learn it too. Let me ask you, have you ever walked into a room and felt an instant connection with someone? Or maybe, you've experienced that strange, almost imperceptible shift in your attitude when someone new enters your space. That's not coincidence. That's psychology at work. Deep, primal, subconscious mechanics that govern how we connect, influence, and sometimes, how we're manipulated without even realizing it. Because these techniques are not some accidental magic, they are precise, calculated, and they've been refined over centuries. Tonight, you're going to discover how some people seem to walk into a room, and everyone just listens. How politicians, salespeople, master persuaders, they seem to wield a kind of invisible power that makes you trust them almost instantly. But it's not about charisma alone. No. It's about understanding the hidden triggers, the secret signals that activate your deepest psychological wiring. And once you see them, everything changes, because knowledge is power. And in this game, knowledge means control. Now, consider this. What if I told you that your trust isn't just given freely? No, it's carefully earned and manipulated. Think about how a charismatic leader or a clever salesperson instantly builds rapport. It's not just what they say, but how they say it, how they look at you, the pauses they take, the words they choose, the subtle gestures, even the tone of voice. These are not just superficial tricks. They are psychological triggers designed to bypass your conscious defenses and go straight into your subconscious. When they do this right, you're already on their side before you even realize what's happening. And it gets worse. There's a thing called the priming effect. Ever notice how hearing or seeing one thing immediately influences your next decision? Like if I say trust, you might think of a concept that opens up the door for influence. That's because your subconscious is always working behind the scenes, prepping your mind to accept new ideas without even realizing it. Advertisers, political strategists, even friends, know how to use this to steer your choices. They plant ideas, images, words in your mind, and you don't even catch it. It's subtle. It's sneaky. But it's effective. Let's talk about language. Words are not just words. They are weapons, tools of persuasion and manipulation. A single phrase delivered at the right moment can make someone freeze in fear, feel safe, crave something they didn't want before, or even act against their own best interests. Subtle shifts in tone, emphasis, or framing can completely change the outcome of a conversation. If you know how to read between the lines, you can unveil the real message hiding behind the words. Now, imagine the power of framing. How you present information determines how people perceive it. You might think the message is what you say, but it's often how you say it. The placement of emphasis, the order of facts, what you omit. These choices can make the difference between persuasion and rejection. Masters of influence understand that hiding certain truths, or highlighting others, is central to their strategy. They know that perception is reality. And they control that perception by controlling the framing. And here's where it gets really dark. Emotional looping, an insidious technique where emotions are manipulated to trap someone in a cycle of vulnerability, fear, anger, desire. This isn't about honest persuasion anymore, it's about fostering dependency, keeping someone hooked on their feelings, making it impossible for them to think clearly. They echo fears or aspirations, gradually distorting your perception of reality until you're no longer in control. Once in this trap, your decisions become predictable, your mind becomes a playing field. Recognizing this? That's your first line of defense. Pay attention to sudden changes in tone, overly personal questions, or relentless positivity or negativity. These are often signals someone is trying to influence or manipulate. Once you see the signs, you can step back, regain control, and protect your inner world from external forces trying to dominate it. But awareness isn't enough. You need to understand why it works, to see behind the curtain, to decode the psychology that makes these tricks so effective. Think about influential figures throughout history: politicians, cult leaders, entrepreneurs. What set them apart? Was it their charisma, or was it something deeper, something in their psychological toolbox that most people never glimpse? I assure you, there's a science behind it, an art, really, of persuasion, influence, and control. And now you're here because you want to learn. You want to understand these sacred, hidden truths. Because knowledge of these techniques can empower you, whether it's for ethical persuasion, self-protection, or simply understanding the world better. Once you know how these tools work, they stop being manipulative tricks and become resources you can wield responsibly. But remember, this knowledge is a double-edged sword. With great power comes great responsibility. Ethical use is always the goal. Manipulation for personal gain at the expense of others is a dark path. Use what you learn here wisely, educate yourself in the art of influence, but always act with integrity. Because at the end of the day, mastery over dark psychology isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself, your awareness, your decisions, your reality. So, as you walk through life, whether you're in a conversation, at work, or just observing the world, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what unseen forces are acting right now? What triggers are at play? And how can I use this knowledge to protect myself, to influence ethically, to elevate my life and those around me? Because understanding these secret mechanisms isn't just about manipulation, it's about enlightenment. It's about awakening to the true nature of human influence, and mastering it. And here's the truth. Once you realize how much power lies in understanding human psychology, you can never go back to seeing the world the same way. The little signals, the subtle cues, they become impossible to ignore. You start noticing when someone is trying to sway you, control your emotions, or plant ideas in your mind. Awareness becomes your shield, your sword, your gateway to genuine influence, guiding every interaction with clarity and confidence. All of this is just the beginning. This knowledge will open your eyes to a world that most people don't even realize exists. But it's also a responsibility, a power that must be used wisely. Because in the realm of dark psychology, ignorance is a gift to those who want to control you. And now you're learning to see, to understand, and to stand firm. Because true mastery isn't about using these secrets for evil. It's about understanding human nature, protecting what's yours, and helping others see the truth too.